The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today we're going to be conducting a test of a distance cruiser made for mature owners and families. It's the Bavaria E40. We'll start with a look at our operational features.
Take a look at the helm. We're on an elevated platform, so we've got great visibility. Plus, we can still have people sitting along with us and see over their heads. The helm itself is a pedestal reminiscent of sailboats, 10-inch display in the center, analog gauges over to the left-hand side that include a rudder indicator for our single engine with rudder, suede-wrapped steering wheel, stainless steel, compass up on top, thrusters over on the left-hand side with the beverage holder just above. Over to the right-hand side, the Volvo Penta EVC display, windshield wiper controls, controls for the remote spotlight, and our engine control. To the port side of the pedestal, main battery switches, air conditioning for the salon and the forward stateroom, and of course the VHF radio with its external speaker. To the front side of the helm, a Fusion stereo with a CD dock. It's got Bluetooth connectivity, plus we can also connect via USB or an MP3 port. Just below, small station for placing your phone, and notice just above is another charging port, and below is the main electrical panel. Notice the huge single-piece windshield, and yes, there are defrosting vents underneath. At the working end of the bow, a hatch covers a concealed windlass that is horizontally mounted, chain locker just beneath, stainless steel davit leading out to a plow anchor.
Of course, this is also useful as a pulpit seat.
A step and a split rail lends itself to bow inboarding. The engine room is located directly across from the master stateroom. The engine room seems to be all about ease of access. Of course, the focal point, the diesel engine in the center, in this case the Volvo Penta D4 300. To both sides of the fuel tanks, 71 gallons total, so 35.5 gallons each. They're held in place with brackets at the bottom and straps around the top.
To the forward bulkhead is the 12 kW Fisher Panda generator.
Through-hull fittings are all easily accessible. Hoses are double clamped. I don't see any wires bonding the through hulls against electrolysis. Batteries are certainly easily accessible to both sides of the engine. On the aft bulkhead is the hot water heater. On the aft bulkhead to the port side are the switches to get us from generator over to shore power.
Now, let's get her on the water and see how she performs. The Bavaria E40 Sedan has a length overall of 40 feet 3 inches, a beam of 13 feet 8 inches, and a draft of 3 feet 6 inches. With an empty weight of 23,149 pounds, 50 gallons of fuel, and 4 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 24,239 pounds. With a single 300 horsepower Volvo Penta D4 turning a 28 by 24 bladed prop through a straight shaft with 3-to-1 reduction, we reached a top speed of 13.9 knots. But this boat isn't about reaching top speed, it's about going slow and far. We found that at a sedate cruise of 8 knots, she'll run for nearly 220 nautical miles, and pull back to just over 6 knots, she'll run over 335 nautical miles. All this while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 70-gallon total fuel capacity.
Now, interestingly enough, this boat has an option for adding an electric engine in line with the diesel engine. That can either extend your range or help you run quietly in and out of a mooring field in the middle of the night. When you use the electric engine, you can go 2 hours at 5 knots or 3 hours at 4 knots.
As for her handling, with calm conditions, we were left with the wake of our camera boat to see how she deals with waves, and frankly, she's impressive. When crossing the backside, she slices through the wave rather than going up and over, so her narrow entry serves her well. As with a typical displacement boat, she won't come up on top and level off. Here we can see that she's at a 1500 RPM cruise speed at 6.6 knots. Plenty of visibility. Come on up to 2000 and there's little change. 2500 RPM and it's where we start to see more of a change in the bow rise. At 3000 it becomes more significant, and now we're running at just over 10 knots. At 3500 RPM, we're climbing up onto the bow wave but not getting over it, so the bow is at its highest here. So it stays at this level at her top speed of 3650 RPM. But through it all, we still have a clear sightline to the horizon. During turn, she stays relatively flat, but we can see how she loses speed and drops her nose back down. And because she's a single screw with a right-hand propeller, she'll back to port. This can be used to your advantage when coming into a dock. Set up to starboard and have it self-align as you back into a slip. Then use the thruster to control the bow. Of course, there's a lot more to the E40, so be sure to watch our accommodations and features video.
Well, in my opinion, range and comfort seem to come together with the Bavaria E40. And that's my full test and performance evaluation. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.